What is going on, people? Triple M back again with another video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I would like to talk about the contentious and polarizing topic that is Erik ten Hag and his future as Manchester United manager. As following the FA Cup win over Manchester City at the weekend again at Wembley Stadium, there have been a lot of reports suggesting that Ineos are going to hold talks to discuss the future of Manchester United's manager, Erik ten Hag. And this is very contradicting to a lot of the reports we had just 24 hours before the FA Cup final, suggesting that his fate was pretty much decided and that he was going to leave the club regardless of the result in the FA Cup. Now we're getting contradicting reports, and honestly, I have a massive issue with this. Before I talk about my personal beliefs on Erik ten Hag, let me just say that this has nothing to do with what I personally want. If Ineos have decided they want to keep Erik ten Hag, then they should publicly back him. And there should have already been a statement before the FA Cup final saying, hey, we are going to start our project with this manager and we are letting it be known publicly that this is the decision we're making. Whether you like it or not, tough luck. We've clearly had a lot of time to think about things, and this is a decision made on clear foresight and clear planning based on the manager's past experience and based on the manager's CV and based on what we have observed and how we have audited this club from top to bottom in our short time here as the new ownership group. Right? And if they're not going to keep him, then do the same thing. Keep the same energy. But what you don't do is wait for the FA Cup and then now have a week of deliberation. Like, what were you deliberating all this time if you're still going to do more deliberating after the result? It just fills me with the sense of doubt in the new ownership, because it makes me feel like they could potentially get roped in to making an emotional decision. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to Manchester United's new owners, but we've seen the previous ownership do that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? We gave that guy a 3-year contract based off of feel-good factors and vibes. Nothing else. The initial plan was never to hire Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the full-time manager, but because things went so well in his interim period, we allowed short-term results to impact our long-term decision-making as a club, and that is a huge red flag. It's okay for fans to be short-term. It's okay for fans to be emotional. I've seen many Manchester United fans post-FA Cup final change their opinion on Erik ten Hag. That's fine. That's your right. That's your prerogative. And nobody should give you any abuse or any toxicity because of that. It's your right as a Manchester United fan or as a football fan in general to say, look, I've changed my mind. I feel very emotional right now. We just won the FA Cup. And you know what? Putting everything into context over the last 2 years, this guy's won 2 trophies. Manchester United have looked like a completely different team in the last 5 games. That's your right, because Manchester United have genuinely looked like a different team. I just personally disagree with those people, and I disagree with our footballing decision makers being that flip-floppy in terms of their decision making. It honestly does not sit well with me. In terms of my personal beliefs, as many of you know, obviously I want Erik ten Hag to be sacked, even though I acknowledge that he's won 2 trophies, and I acknowledge that Manchester United, in the last few games, the game against Newcastle, the game against Brighton, obviously the FA Cup game at the weekend, have definitely looked better structurally as a team, right? We haven't looked anywhere near as erratic in terms of spamming long balls. There seems to be a lot more poise and control in the way that we build up, and we know when to time the long balls better. You look at the first goal we scored, actually I believe it was the second goal we scored, that switch from Rashford across the field to Garnacho, was so well timed. We don't really see that very often with Manchester United. Usually our long balls are they don't seem planned. They don't seem based on patterns that we've been working on in training. They seem like players are just literally trying to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. But that second goal against Manchester City was such a beautiful and delightful build-up goal from back to front. It started off with Bruno Fernandes after we had just won the ball in our box. He maneuvers through some high traffic there to get past a few Manchester City players, lays it off to Kobe Mainoo. Kobe Mainoo gives it to Rashford. Rashford has the vision and the foresight to smack a diag across the field into Garnacho. Garnacho's looking into the box, and by the time he crosses the ball, the same 2 guys who started the attack, Bruno and Kobe, are both on the end of it and assist each other to score the goal, obviously with Kobe being the one who scored and Bruno getting the assist. We haven't seen that a lot this season. We haven't seen well-worked, methodical team goals, and that has definitely changed in the last few games. However, for me, it's a little bit too much too late. I've seen enough evidence and I've had a big enough sample size of Erik ten Hag doing things wrong structurally and tactically, regardless of injuries and regardless of the extenuating circumstances that have made his life difficult as Manchester United manager, like any other manager whether it's Oli, Jose, LVG, they all are victims of poor club structure, and they all are victims of the Glazers, and they all are victims of poor transfer policies, etc., etc. But that does not void them from criticism and blame. It does not absolve them from accountability for poor seasons. And Erik ten Hag factually has had the worst season as a Manchester United manager that we've had in the Premier League era. I cannot look at that and ignore it because of an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. I just can't. I can celebrate those two trophies and say, thank you, Erik ten Hag. Thank you so much for giving me feelings of euphoria and giving me a sense of happiness and joy after what has been a miserable season. But I can also then say, but it's not enough. And that is a personal opinion. You don't have to agree. You're welcome to disagree. Let me know what you think in the comments down below if you're a United fan. And if you're not, if you're a rival observing Manchester United, do you think we should be keeping Ten Hag? Do you think Erik ten Hag should go? You know, a lot of stuff goes into this, like who we've been linked to, right? I acknowledge that some of the candidates we've been linked to are not particularly great. And there is a lot of red flags. There's a lot of people who, to be fair, are not saying they want to keep Erik ten Hag because they think he's the right guy, but they want to keep Erik ten Hag over some of the people we've been linked to, whether it be De Zerbi, whether it be Thomas Frank, whether it be Tuchel, whether it be who else we're linked to. I believe Southgate at some point as well. And I definitely agree when it comes to Gareth Southgate specifically. I would rather keep Erik ten Hag. But anyways, it's been your boy Triple M. I've waffled on enough. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Peace.